Keep watching to see how we created this whimsical exotic vane using PolyKote Pro. Okay, so I have 55% of the bright white from Savage Patriot, and then I have 35% of a white metallic powder, and then 5% of a gold. You choose whatever gold you want. Mine's called pale gold, but I couldn't tell you where I got it. It was gifted to me. And then I have 5% of the aluminum liquid dye from also Savage Patriot. So this is an exotic vane that I'm doing. So what I'm doing with the white is, because I'm going to kind of make this a skim coat to start, I'm just going to kind of rub this in, but I don't want to over pour. I want to have plenty of room to work my veins. I'm only going to have 2 or 3 veins. And then the backsplashes, the customer wants really no veins. So because they're super small anyway, that works out. So I'm going to do a background marbling on this, and I'll do the same thing on the backsplashes and leave them really simple. So what I'm doing first, I'm using 4 ounces per square foot, by the way. And I have fogged the counter with some bright gold and some white spray paint. And I'm taking care of kind of just making it so when I push my vein around, there's already a coat before I start marbling in the other colors. So I'm not covering it yet, but I'll get there. So, but I want to make sure that my edges start to flow sooner in the pour than later. So I'm rubbing that. I also make sure on all the counters to always rub underneath the edge, so that way I can encapsulate it. And you want to do this with every coating you use. So I recently posted a blog about how to pour over existing counters on our website, which, by the way, if you haven't checked out our new website, you should do that. We have the most amazing new website that was built by Joanne from Groundworks. Sorry, Joanne, Groundworks. And she is amazing. She really, really knows what she's doing. She made the process so easy and was able to capture everything that we do and is really getting the phone to ring. We're getting found again. So having the right website and the right algorithms and Google Analytics and all that stuff is so important. So if you don't have a great website, let me know and I will put you in touch with Joanne. Anyhow, so on that blog on our website under resources, you can read about how to pour an existing countertop, right in place. And that's using the new epoxy coat as your base. So instead of priming it like Travis did here, you would go over it with a tinted coat of the epoxy coat, which bonds really, really well to whatever surface you're starting with, as long as you prep it right, which the blog explains how to do that. And then you come over it with your PolyKote. We have found that PolyKote bonds incredibly well to epoxy. So putting the epoxy coat as a base is always great. Can I do that on these counters? Sure, I could. I have not yet found the need to when it's a fabrication because, Travis has control over how he's fabricating. There's no contamination or anything like that. Also here, I'm wiping underneath the sink because this is an undermount sink and you want to make sure it's all completely sealed. Yes, we will put silicone, but you want to make sure you seal every edge. Also, you want to do that on this backside, which I will do when I come around to do the backsplash. Now, because this is going to be predominantly white, I'm using PolyKote Pro. No epoxy, because that will turn yellow, but this will not. So my working time is about 35-ish minutes. You can see this is a, 20 square foot counter, I think. So I have plenty of time. I'm not rushing, but I'm also not, lollygagging around. I want to make sure that I get everything coated and I'm not in a hurry. Also knowing that I have to do backsplashes.
16 plus backsplashes.
16 square feet? Oh, minus the sinks, you mean? Like they were, I think it was.
Minus the sinks and plus max, so it's about 16 square feet.
Oh.
Maybe 15.
I had calculated 20 on our form.
Just under 8 feet long.
Well, I had 20 square feet, so I may have some extra material, but that's all right. I'd rather have more than less, or not enough. So again, this is just a base coat. Now, I'm not going too heavy with this because if I do, I'm going to flood this too much and I'll have too much material and my veins will kind of just fall apart. So I'm doing a thin layer, then I'm going to add in the rest. Backsplash treat just like your counter. So make sure you rub your edges, tops, bottoms, make sure it folds over and rolls over and looks good. Again, I have more to do, so I'm going to rub that underside now. This allows me to kind of look and go, oh, I missed this part of the sink, right? Make sure that you're not missing anything, okay? Taking care of your edges early will serve you super well. Now, what I've been hearing is a lot of people are fabricating and they're leaving this edge right here 90 degrees and they're not really coating it because they're like, well, it's going against a wall, so you're not seeing it, right? Well, there's a problem with that. You still have to treat this like any other countertop or any other, surface that you're pouring. You want to round this over at least 1/8. We do 1/4 inch. All right. And you want to make sure you're rubbing underneath, and that's going to ensure that it's encapsulated. You're not going to have anything delaminate. If you don't do that, you're leaving yourself open to who knows what. Okay, so I'm going to reserve a little bit of my white because what I like to do is pour it right before the veins on each side. All right, so they're generally coated. Oh yeah, guess I'm not reserving much of my white, am I? I have one more backsplash. I can still reserve a little bit. So things move pretty quickly after this part because I have to get it blended and get the veins on before it sets up, or it's not going to move the way that I want it to. But you will see how fast this type of design goes down. All right, so next I'm going to come in with my metallic white. Okay, and I'm going to kind of marble this all over, but I'm also want it where my veins are. Just going to create a gentle marbling. My veins kind of going to go through the center and around my sinks. What I'm doing with this, I just want this to kind of marble in. So you can see how a metallic white is warm. Okay, it's not bright like that dye. But if you come in close with the camera, you can see just those two together create a really cool marbled effect with nothing else. So I'm just gently pushing this in the background, and I'm going to do similar with my gold to create kind of some marbled background, and then my backsplash will be just that. Now some people think, more is better, right? Well, with PolyKote, you can pour too heavy, right? So 4 ounces per square foot is pretty much the perfect amount. Anything more than that, you're really going to flood it. It might have curing issues and you'll lose some of your design. Anything less than that, you might have some fish eyes. Things won't move as well. You do want it to flow off. I like to be able to push my material around, so that's where 4 kind of came into play. Put a little on my backsplash. I have way too much of this one, so that's that 20 square feet in my head. Somehow I measured that wrong, but See how easy it is to marble? I mean, I really don't have to do a whole lot. I'm not overly chopping this in because, you know, I don't want to get rid of my white, you know, the bright white. I just want a gentle design. And that white dye, when it pushes over the micas, it just, you know, starts to cell up and create its own little cool effect. And it's just gorgeous. If you have not tried the Brilliant White from Savage Patriot, do it. Just a gentle marbling. I'm going to use this in some of my veins for a little towards the front edges, anywhere that it's kind of, you know, look for this. So you can kind of see how it started to drip, right? And then it stopped. There wasn't much material. So that's where I want to pour a little, you know, bead and allow that to drip over. So now's the time to kind of look at my edge, see if there's anything. Yes, I'm going to push some veins over too, but edges dry quicker. I don't know why, but you just want to tend to your edges as fast as possible. Get them how you like them to start. Then you can worry about the rest. And I save some of that white too, so if I need it on an edge, I'll have it. Okay.
Why are we doing white again?
What?
Why are we doing white again?
Why are we doing white again is what he asked. I know you can't hear him. He doesn't have his mic on, which maybe we should put your mic on. You want to do that? You want to put your mic on?
No.
No. He doesn't want to put his mic on. So
Why are we using white again?
we're using white because it's PolyKote.
Because we totally can.
Oh, he can't even, they can't hear you. Because we totally can. All right, you need to go put your mic on. Okay, hurry. Okay, so I'm now just taking my gold and I'm going to put a little bit on my fingers. Okay, and I'm going to just kind of put this in a couple spots. It's going to blend in more. But you see, I don't need very much. I just want to get some color where there's not going to be any veins. And then I'm going to add some white. Like this is going to be a vein. This might be part of a vein. Just want like a little bit of this gold kind of around here. She's got a really pretty bronze, I believe, faucets and hardware. That's why she wanted this color. Do similar here. I'm gonna have to move that around a little bit. It was a little too much in that center. Just want a tiny bit. And I'm going to do this with the aluminum too. So you see I kind of skip around because I don't want it to be everywhere. I just want it to be a little hint. I'm going to come and do that with the aluminum. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start doing the veins. So for the veins, I'm going to pour the start of the vein. It's going to come here. It's going to cut. And then it's going to kind of move through here and turn and twist and kind of go through the center. And then we're going to have another one over there. Now, I don't pour all the colors in the same places. So I'll start with my base color. This is the metallic white. I'm going to kind of twist it, turn it, move it. This is going to be my main vein. Okay. I may have one. I think I'm going to do a little offshoot right here. And I'm going to do one on this side. Right towards that corner. Okay. And I might do a tiny, teeny one just right here. Okay. All right. So when I come in with the next colors, I don't follow the same line. It's not like I'm doing stripe, stripe, stripe. So for instance, I might put a little of that silver here, or the aluminum, sorry, a little bit over here, a little bit here, some here, here. And here's why. I don't want it to look like stripes. So when you put it in different spots, as you move it and push it, it's going to pick it up. Okay. I might take a little of this and marble the background on the backsplash. We'll see how I feel when I'm done with the vein. Okay, so I'll save some of that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the gold. I'm going to put the gold. Oh, hello, why are you pouring all funky? Don't know why. My cup is having malfunctions. Now I love what this stuff does on the edges. So I'm going to pour it more towards the edge of my vein. She does want more of the gold than the aluminum. Just a hint here and there for the aluminum. Should be okay. So then I take what's left of my white and I kind of outline a little bit because I like to push the white into the rest of those colors, because this white, like I said, is the best white I've ever used. And I like what it does when it starts to incorporate. So I have enough to get to that other vein too. Let's just put a little here, a little here. You can do it, come on. Okay, that's all I got. So I got plenty of this metallic white, too much. You can still see I have plenty of that. Now, what I'm
going to say you're going to marble in some of the aluminum?
I'm going to see how after I do the vein if I want to. I haven't decided. Right now? I'm just priming my roller
with some drippage.
Just so that way it doesn't stick when I start to move it. Okay. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to push gently, push and twist and turn. I'm trying to create like a ripple. Like that. Okay. Do the same thing here. I try to go kind of gently, right? I don't want to dig down too deep into the counter. You don't have to touch every part of your vein per se, right? If you like how it's looking, then stop. If you don't, then, you know, roll that spot out. Like there's this white spot, right? So I'm just going to take that and gently put that guy in there, kind of blend him out. Okay. Oh, there's a little squiggly guy. We don't want squiggly guys. Okay. You can take your roller too, anywhere you kind of blend it out. If you want to soften that, you can, you know, just kind of create little veins, but do your main ones first. So let's do that here. So I don't go it straight through, right? Because I want these colors to play with each other. And if I don't move them, they're not going anywhere. I'm going to create the shape that I want. Yes, it's going to continue to move, but I can decide that I want it to be like a little tighter, kind of push it around. I can have a couple little tiny offshoots that kind of just flow and follow my roller. Really soft. And do the same thing here. But keeping in mind these are two different veins, right? I don't want this to become one. I'm going to move it this direction and separate this guy out. Let's hold that right there and come from here. I'm going to come this way. Now I'm using the tip of the roller here just to kind of marry into this vein, and I'm going to pull it back and then push this forward. Let's smooth that out just a hair. Anywhere that it drips, just run your roller back. It's good to take a quick peek and see if there's anything harsh. Yeah, maybe come around this side too. I don't know. I'm going to push this way here. Break up this vein. Kind of go backwards here. I'm not pushing too hard, and you see my roller is not rolling. Okay, I'm pushing it.
It's not rolling.
It's not rolling. It's a roller, but it's not rolling.
Why is this not rolling?
I don't want it to roll because I'm not trying to make this paint, right? This is resin, and it doesn't need to be rolled like that. And if you do, you're going to just smear it. You want this to stand on top of itself, right? The white kind of hints on top. You can see that white kind of stands on top of the other colors, you know. Let's see, I think I want to fix this spot over here a little bit. I might scoop up a hint of white for that corner. I want it a little whiter right there. But I love how that white sells up. Now, can you catch the gold? Are you able to catch it?
Yep.
So this gold kind of rises to the top, and I love that.
It's kind of like that alchemy.
Kind of. And as it cures, it continues to rise up, and you just cannot sand it. Do not sand it. Do not sand it. I can say that 25 times. Do not sand it if you like it.
Or you'll lose it.
Or you'll lose it. Okay. Now I can feel it's tacking up. Okay. So when I touch it with my hand. So this is the time where I'm going to make sure that all my edges have come down. I'm going to grab a torch just for anything I see that needs to move. So hold that thought. So I'm torching just a little. You don't have to torch PolyKote, okay? I'm not the pro anyway. But if I see anything that hasn't fully dripped the way I want, I can help it with just a little bit of warmth and it'll flow. I can take a little bit of drippings. I think that warmed up whatever I was looking at. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the counter overall.
That's as much as torches she used.
Yeah, just a teeny bit. I'm going to grab a touch of the aluminum on my hand. This is aluminum liquid dye. And grab maybe some of the white that's just dripping off. And maybe get some of that. Just a couple hints of it in here. Let me torch that. I'm only torching because I'm late in the pour here and I want this to settle down. I think that'll work. Just a teeny, teeny, teeny bit. Couple spots. If I start, okay, so here's why I'm grabbing the white aluminum. If I don't have enough material on my hand and I start touching this right now, it's going to stick to it because it's setting up. So I need something that's not set up, which it lasts longer in my bucket than on my surface. Okay. So it allows me to add that without, if I put my hand in there right now, it's just going to look really bad because it's already tacking up a little bit. Not too much, but I can feel it. Once you've worked with it enough times, you kind of know. And you warm it up. Grab some of the white. Okay, so if I were to redo this again, I would have reserved a little more of my white and made less of the white mica. Still going to move a little bit, but keep in mind, whatever you do right now, it's not going to move a lot. It's not like epoxy where, you know, you start to do something and, oh, it'll keep moving for hours. Like what you see is pretty much what it's going to be. It's not going to change from that. It's not going to move. I'm not going to start putting this, you know, aluminum on the back of the counter. I think there's plenty of color. I just need to do a little on this backsplash and we are done. Everything looks good. You can see the design float over. And I did fog this edge first, knowing that this wasn't going to be a super design intense countertop. So I wasn't going to be able to push a lot over the edge. So this allows me to cover and make some color. So if it flows over and it's kind of clear, it's okay. Or light. See one little spot here. So let's show you how to fix an edge. So come on in close to right here. Do you see? Can you catch that?
Yep.
Okay. So see when I torch it, it starts to flow down. I'm going to give it a little help with some extra. So that way as it wants to flow, it's got something to move into and then that's all going to fall off. But that way I don't have a weird, you know, ridge right there.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think we are good. This will get a matte top coat with fortified top coat tomorrow, and then it will be installed on Monday, and we'll show you how it all looks. Stay tuned.